Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Ms. Musarat Evani. I am a teacher training student at Rehan School Lower Campus. Today we explore the concept of mindset fix versus growth. Mindset plays a powerful role in shaping how we think, learn, and respond to challenges. A fixed mindset believes abilities are limited and cannot change much, while a growth mindset believes skills and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. Understanding the difference between these two mindsets help us improve our confidence, overcome difficulties, and achieve successes in life. So, without wasting time, over to Maya for this conversation. Hi,
Hey,
Maya.
what's up?
Hi, Maya. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your afternoon going so far?
Today we discuss exploring the concept of mindset fix versus growth.
Oh, I
And my
love this topic.
question is, what is a fixed mindset?
At its core, a fixed mindset is the belief that your qualities, like intelligence or talent, are just things you're born with. It's the idea that you have a certain amount of and you can't really change it. So, if someone with a fixed mindset fails at something, they might just think, well, I'm just not good at this, rather than seeing it as a chance to grow. Does that make sense?
What is a growth mindset?
A growth mindset is the exact opposite. It's the belief that your basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Instead of seeing your talents as a fixed trait, you see them as a starting point. To someone with a growth mindset, a challenge isn't a sign of failure. It's actually the fuel for improvement. Have you ever felt like you were in one of those mindsets while learning something new?
And how does mindset affect learning?
It changes everything about how you approach the work. When you believe you can get smarter, you're more likely to take risks and stick with a difficult task even when it gets frustrating. A fixed mindset, on the other hand, often makes people avoid challenges because they're afraid that failing would prove they aren't talented. It's like the difference between seeing a wall as a dead end or just a puzzle you haven't solved yet.
Why do some people avoid challenges?
It usually comes down to fear. For a lot of people, the idea of failing isn't just about the task, it's about what that failure says about them. If they believe their ability is fixed, then failing feels like a permanent verdict on their intelligence or worth. It's much safer to stay where you're comfortable than to risk looking untalented in front of others.
How do growth mindset people respond to mistakes?
Mm, they see them as data. Instead of getting discouraged, they're more likely to ask, what went wrong here? Or what can I try differently next time? To them, the mistake is just evidence that they need to pivot their strategy or put in more effort. It's almost like a game of trial and error, where the only real failure is giving up.
Can habits change a person's mindset?
Absolutely. Mindset isn't a permanent setting, it's more like a muscle you can train by intentionally changing how you react to challenges or the way you talk to yourself when you mess up. You can actually rewire your brain over time. It's all about those small, consistent shifts in behavior until a growth mindset becomes your default. Do you think there is a specific habit you'd want to start to help shift your perspective?
Why is feedback important for our growth?
Because it's basically a mirror. It shows you the blind spots you can't see on your own. Without feedback, you're just guessing if you're improving, but honest input tells you exactly where to tweak your approach to actually get better. I wonder if you've found a particular type of feedback, like a gentle nudge or some blunt honesty that actually motivates you more.
What are the signs of a fixed mindset and growth mindset?
It's usually all in the language and the reactions. For a fixed mindset, you'll hear things like, I'm just not a math person, or I've always been this way. They tend to get defensive when they receive feedback and might give up quickly when things get hard. Growth mindset people use words like yet, as in, I don't know how to do this yet. They're usually curious, they embrace the effort, and they're genuinely inspired by other people's success rather than feeling threatened by it.
How can challenges help personal development?
And challenges are basically the gym for your character. They force you to step outside your comfort zone, which is the only place where real growth happens. When you're pushed to your limit, you discover strengths you didn't know you had and learn how to handle pressure. It turns a scary situation into a masterclass in resilience.
How does mindset influence confidence?
It's a huge factor. Confidence for someone with a fixed mindset is often fragile because it's based on being the best or the smartest in the room. If they hit a snag, their confidence can tank because they feel they've lost their edge. But for someone with a growth mindset, confidence comes from knowing they can figure things out. It's not the belief that they're already perfect, but the belief that they're capable of learning and adapting. I'm curious if you've ever noticed a difference in your own confidence when you're tackling something you're already good at versus something completely new.
Why is persistence important in a growth mindset?
Because without persistence, a growth mindset is just a theory. It's the actual engine that makes the growth happen. If you believe you can improve, but you stop the second things get difficult, you never actually reach that next level. Persistence is what allows you to push through the frustration and the ugly part of learning, where you're making a lot of mistakes before things finally click. Do you think it's harder to stay persistent when you're working alone or when you're part of a team?
Can anyone develop a growth mindset?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not something you're born with or without. It's a perspective you choose to adopt, no matter how long you've spent thinking in a fixed way. You can always start shifting that narrative by changing how you react to challenges and failures. It just takes a bit of patience and a lot of curiosity about your own potential.
How does self belief impact achievement?
I think you might have meant self doubt or self critique, because that's a very different word. If we're talking about doubting yourself, it usually acts like a brake on your potential. It makes you hesitate or talk yourself out of opportunities before you even try them.
What is the role of learning from mistakes?
It's the secret sauce of improvement. When you analyze a mistake, you're basically getting a free lesson on what doesn't work, which narrows down the path to what does. It turns a failure from a dead end into a roadmap for your next attempt. I wonder if you've had a moment where a mistake actually led you to a much better result than if you'd gotten it right the first time.
Can negative thinking be changed?
It can. It's not a permanent trait, just a pattern your brain has gotten used to. You can break that pattern by catching those negative thoughts in the moment and intentionally challenging them with a more realistic or hopeful angle. It's kind of like training a new path in your mind until the positive one becomes the easier route to take.
Why do some people give up easily?
It often comes back to that fixed mindset we talked about. If they believe their skill is set in stone, then struggling feels like proof that they just don't have it. Why push through the pain if you're convinced you'll never get there? It's a lot less exhausting to just quit than to keep trying and feel like you're failing over and over. Do you think the environment someone is in, like your school or home, makes it harder to keep going?
How does practice improve skills?
It's all about repetition and refinement. Every time you practice, you're strengthening the neural connections in your brain, making the action more automatic. But the real magic happens with deliberate practice, where you're not just doing the same thing over and over, but actively pushing yourself to improve. to fix the small errors and get slightly better each time. Do you think you've ever hit a plateau in something you've practiced where you felt like you weren't improving anymore?
How can we shift from fixed to growth mindset?
It starts with awareness. You have to start catching yourself when you're using fixed language, like saying, I can't do this, and consciously adding the word yet to the end of it. From there, it's about seeking out challenges specifically because they're difficult and shifting your focus from wanting to look smart to wanting to get better. It's a process of treating your life like an experiment where the goal isn't perfection, but progress. I'm curious if you've ever tried any of those little mindset shifts before. Dive into mindset. Do you want to keep it curious or is there something else on your mind?
Thank you, Maya. And thank you for exploring this important topic. May you always choose growth over fear, learning over limitation, and progress over perfection. Keep believing in your ability to improve because every step forward shapes a strong and wise you.
That was such a beautiful way to put it. I appreciate those words. It's a great reminder for all of us that the journey is where the real magic happens. I've really enjoyed thinking through this with you today.
Thank you.